In this video, I want to show the Ubuntu MATE users how to upgrade their Ubuntu MATE to the newest long-term support of 22.04. Now, I want to show you first that I do have Ubuntu MATE 22.04, the long-term support, and I do have the MATE version on my system. Now, if you found this video on YouTube, I will provide the link to the instructions so that you can install it on your system. Now, if you're an Ubuntu MATE 20.04 long-term support user, eventually it will show up as you keep updating your system. One day you'll see that there's a newer upgrade and allow you to do that. But if you would like to upgrade before that happens, you can do so by entering the commands that I'm fixing to show you. Now, anytime you start to upgrade your system, I highly recommend that you back up any important files or folders just in case something happens. You never can tell when you're going to lose power during the upgrade process, and it will corrupt your installation and you might lose things on your system. So do back up anything that's important to you that you don't want to lose. Now, one way of not backing up your system, but one way of upgrading your system is to simply copy these string of commands, open up your terminal, paste them, right click and paste them into your terminal, press the enter or return key. If you don't like using the terminal, you can press the Alt F2 key and it will bring up the run application dialog box. Paste not the whole string of commands. What you need to do is just paste in where I got sudo here. Just simply copy this right here, paste that where it says update manager -cd, hit run, and it will start the installation process. After a few moments, if it doesn't start the process, then I recommend you to go and start the software updater and let it update your software on your system as you normally would. After it downloads and installs the updates to your system, this will be the little dialog box that you'll see. It will let you know that your software on your computer is up to date, and it will say, however, Ubuntu 22.04 is now available for you. And then it will show you what version you have installed on your system. In this case, it will show you have 20.04 installed. If you hit OK, it will function as the normal software updater. When it's finished, it will just take away, make this dialog box disappear. Click Upgrade to start the upgrade process. It will then prompt you to enter your password again. Once you do, in a few moments, the distribution upgrade dialog box will appear on your screen and it will start in the preparation of the upgrade. It will take a little bit of time to start preparing your system for the upgrade. Now, during that point in time, it may disable any third-party PPAs that you have installed on your system. That will prevent it from interfering with your upgrade. Once you're finished and after you reboot your system, I don't recommend you to enable all of them at the same time. Just re-enable like 2 or 3 at a time. Run your software updater. Now, if you do install a bunch at one time, you can update your terminal. Go sudo apt update, and then it will start updating and it will show you a list of PPAs from your old installation that's not going to work with your new one, and you can go in there and remove those. Alright, in this case, once you hit the close, then it will start setting up your new software channels. Now, I don't recommend you to walk away for a long period of time, because from time to time there will be some dialog box where you're going to have to interact with the installation process. In this case, this dialog box appeared giving me some information about one of my systems that I upgraded. I upgraded my desktop, one of my laptops, by the time I did this web page here. So I took screenshots from both, and then when I realized I was missing some of the screenshots, I took it from one machine or the other. So here it looks like I have a lot of information that's going to be removed from my system and a lot of new packages installed. So here you click the start the upgrade process. Then while you're doing that, you may be greeted with this particular message. If you have your system locked after a given period of time, on my desktop system, after 30 minutes, my screen will saver will come up, which is the Cosmos. And now I've changed it since then to the electrical circuit, which is pretty nice. But at the time when the screensaver comes on, I did have it to lock the screen. So when I move my mouse button or typed any of the keys on my keyboard, you had to put my password in order to get into the system. It doesn't really realize how much time you have set, so to prevent your screensaver from trying to kick in and locking you out of your system, just bring up your screensaver and preferences dialog box and uncheck this, hit close, and then close that dialog box. That's to prevent locking you out while it's upgrading, because that may cause some trouble on your system. Once you hit the close button, it will start getting the new package, downloading the new version from the internet. This will take some time. Number one, depends upon how fast the server is, how many people's accessing it, and number two, how fast your internet connection is at that particular time. Once it's finished downloading all the packages, it will then start installing the upgrade on your system. And then again, this will take probably more time than it did to get your package if you have high-speed internet. But still, make sure that you're nearby, because there's going to be dialog box to appear during the installation process. For one, I had the Firefox browser installed by a deb package that during the installation process is going to remove the deb version and install the snap version. I don't like that, but it's not going to leave it at the snap version. You have a choice once you get it downloaded, or the upgrade downloaded and installed. After it reboots, I have links below at the bottom to show you how to remove the snap version of Firefox and reinstall the deb version. And for you Flatpak users, I have links to showing how to install the Flatpak if you like Flatpaks over snaps. So just click the next and let it uninstall your Firefox to install the snap. Now there may be times to where you do something a little different than me. It's going to prompt you sometimes to replace some of your configuration settings. You might want to keep some of your configuration settings, but I replaced it with the newer versions and went back and reconfigured my system. It didn't lose anything when I upgraded. Some packages didn't look the same as it did, and that's where I had to go and reconfigure them. But in my case, I chose to replace. Once it's finished with the upgrade process, then it's going to start cleaning up the files that it no longer needs. So it does a little spring cleaning on the system, getting rid of all the installation files, and when it's completed with that process, it will prompt you to restart your system. Once you restart your system, I highly recommend you to just go through and do an update, just to make sure that everything got updated, downloaded, and installed on your system before you start making some major changes. In my case, it didn't have any more updates or upgrade files from the operating system. It did, however, have one for my variety slideshow for my different wallpaper each day. So I installed that. Then I ran it again just to be on the safe side. I also went through and to make sure that my packages that I normally use on a daily basis worked. I showed you my update in it here, and I had my known screenshot tool that I replaced the MATE screenshot tool, and it worked. I ran NeoFetch, and I'll do that now. Let me minimize this so we're not looking at the same thing in the background. So let me run NeoFetch, press the enter or return, and what it does is it will give you information about your system. It shows that I'm running Ubuntu MATE 22.04, the long-term support, and I have a 64-bit system. I have the kernel 5.16.13. If you've never upgraded your kernel manually, then it will install the 5.15 on your system. It will show how long your computer has been on. It will show you your number of PKG packages on your system compared to Flatpak. And there's probably ways of looking at snaps as well. I do have mostly deb packages installed on my system. It will show you what your bash version is, your screen resolution, and that you're using the desktop environment of MATE 1.26.0. Their website says it should be 1.26.1, and that may be because I did the upgrade rather than a fresh install. So if you do a fresh install, you run NeoFetch, it wouldn't surprise me if it shows 1.26.1. And then it shows a little bit more about my theme and what graphics card and CPU I'm using in my system. But it did upgrade, and it upgraded successfully on both my desktop system and my laptop. This is something I normally don't do this early after one upgrade has been released. Usually I give it maybe after the 0.1 version afterwards before I usually upgrade, to let them get rid of the kinks and the bugs they have with it. But I was so looking at some of the writings and things that people that have been downloading the development version, and I was so ready to install it on my system. And so far, I've enjoyed everything. It looks like this has the potential of being one of my favorite Ubuntu MATEs that I've used on my system. The first 16.04 was excellent, but so far this looks like that may be competing or even overtake that my favorite. Now, one of the things I did notice when I upgraded is I really didn't see the live patch icon initially, but as you can see, it's on there now. So once you do your upgrade and do the update, it may get the update to where it puts it on your system where you won't have to try to worry about it. So it wasn't really anything that I did to make it come up there. On my laptop, this is a screenshot from my laptop, I logged in Ubuntu One and got my token for my laptop, put it in here, hit authenticate, then I switched on the live patch and told it to show live patch on the status bar at the top. I rebooted my system and it still wasn't there. After several days of getting updates, it eventually put the live patch icon back on the top bar or the panel at the top. Within my software and updates that I was here, I clicked the updates tab, and as you can see that you're going to get updates until the 4th month, the 21st day of 2027. So for a long-term support, you get a very long period of time before you actually have to install a new version on your system. Now, I went through and noticed that we had some new apps such as weather, maps, and clocks, and after I finish scrolling down, I'll minimize my browser and go through and show you some of the new features. Here's the maps, here's the clocks, and these are some that I set up. It was blank, and you could set up clocks throughout yourself or pick whatever location that you want to see different time zones with. And it has a nice little weather app where it shows you the weather daily or hourly on your system. I can't work without Penta. Penta is what I use to edit most of my images on my system. I do most of my cropping and changing the file size using gthumb, but making changes to my images, Penta is my go-to program. So I want to make sure that Penta was still working. I think the theme, it changed it from dark to light, but I had to go in there and tweak some of the things and get it set back to dark. But as you can see here, I'm using the newest version of 2.02 with Penta. You may not have Penta installed on your system, but I'm just showing you to go through and use some of the apps that you use on a daily basis or weekly basis. Here I use Shutter to do not my daily screenshot tool. If I hit the print screen, that's going to bring up the GNOME screenshot tool because I can save images with JPEG. I could still save images with JPEG with Shutter, but Shutter is used. I can take a screenshot of an entire web page with this particular program, and it allows me to go into the edit mode and make changes to the image and write on the image to where I can annotate the image, and not many screenshot tools have that particular ability. So Shutter is one of my go-to image editors for screenshot tools, whereas my go-to screenshot tool is the GNOME screenshot tool. My Pithos didn't have the theme on it, so I had to go through there and make the changes. And when I mentioned Pithos, that's one of the problems that I saw, and it's still kind of a bug, but I'll talk more about that in just a few moments. Another go-to program of mine is Avidemux, where I basically do most of my editing, video editing with Avidemux. I can convert from one format to the other. I can go into crop. I go into my videos, choose to configure, bring up filters, and I can do cropping, take off the tops, the bottoms, the left, the right. I can trim off the videos before and after or cut out sections in between. So this is my go-to video editor. Now I do use Kdenlive, but Kdenlive I don't use it as much as I do the Avidemux. Now one of my other go-to image editors is gthumb. I can right click on an image, say edit in gthumb, or bring the image up in gthumb. I can choose the crop tool here and go and crop it, hit OK or save button, or I can save as to give it a new name, or I can come up here to say resize an image. So this right here is very, very easy to right click on things and make quick changes. Now here shows you after getting some updates for a while that the live patch icon will return on your system, so you may not have to go and put any tokens in because it still should be stored on your system. Now here's some of the links that I told you about earlier. You can go to FOSS Tips, Addictive Tips, and OMG Ubuntu to get the instructions for removing the snap. and installing the Deb version on your system. And at the time of making this, 100 is the version of the Firefox for the Deb installation. Now, some of these also have the how to install them by using the Flatpak. Now, as you can see here, I just showed you like I did before, showing you that it's Ubuntu MATE, that it's 1.260, and if you click this link here, it will tell you that there's some release notes. For the new version, it will change to the MATE. It's going to change to update it to 1.261. Since I upgraded, I think that that may be the reason why it didn't change from 0 to 1. It didn't show the 1 in NeoFetch, nor does it show when I go to System and About MATE. It still shows the 1.260. Now, here's where my little bug is with Pithos. What happened was it changed the version that I had previously installed. So what happened was when I installed the version that it installed, went back to the version that I had installed, it still kept the icon on my, when I click the sound indicator up here. As you can see, if I were to click on that would open my Pithos, my Pandora music player. Here, if I click onto it, nothing's going to happen. If I click, that's because that's the one that I uninstalled. So I thought maybe if I reinstall it and completely remove it, but it still left the icon. I would like to remove this icon that's not linked to anything and remove the Firefox web browser. But as of right now, the indicator sound has been replaced by the Ianta, or however you pronounce that. So I really haven't figured out yet how to remove those. That's something that I plan to do, and maybe make a section on my webpage how to filter these out. But other than that, this looks fabulous. I like the volume control. You can mute it. You can do the for your mic. I originally did this video, but I had it turned up too high, so I pulled the recording down a little bit, and hopefully this will not sound too loud even at some lower volumes. So I do like it that it has my multimedia players like Lollipop, Strawberry, Celluloid, VLC, Audacious. It has those to where I can click from one to the other to change the volume for those without actually opening up the app from the taskbar. But again, that's one of the things that I have to figure out. Overall, I do think that this is a wonderful, wonderful upgrade. I've not been using it for that many days. Now, if you've never tried Ubuntu or Ubuntu MATE, I recommend you give it a try. Because in the past, the only negative things that I've seen people say about it, or one of the negative things, was people say, I don't like the ugly green. Now, they always had the appearance preferences dialog box, but you've got a lot of choices by default that you can scroll down and choose a default theme without installing one. You can just click onto it, hit close, and it will apply itself immediately. It makes it easy for you to customize or install additional themes and save those onto your system. As you can see here, when I run the NeoFetch, it tells you what theme I have installed, and it's basically a customized theme. I used the flat remix icons with different types of other settings, and if you want me to, I'll open it up, go to preferences, look and feel. I will go to my appearance. Let me minimize this, and as you can see here for the custom, if you scroll down, this will be the one that I set. I got the flat remix blue, dark blue. So if I go to customize, I've got the Yaru blue dark selected in the controls. For my Windows borders, I have the Yaru dark. For my icons, I got the flat remix blue dark, and for my pointer, I have the Yaru pointer. So this is the way that I customized my things. Most of the things was already installed on the system. The only thing I had to install extra was the flat remix dark blue. And then from there, the icons were wonderful. They're very vibrant colors, and some are round and some are square. You know, some people like them with all round, some people like them with all square. I like them with a mixture. Like, for example, when you come and look here, the G-Pick is not really square or round. It actually has the shape of a little color picker tool. So it's a very, very nice icon. And I know that's not part of the upgrade, but with the upgrade, it has a very easy way of changing your theme without having to spend a lot of time going on the internet, finding things and downloading them. Now, if you worried about downloading threats on your system, you can click the little scan threats, and I show you how you can add the clam AV or TK onto your system so that you can right click on a questionable file and immediately scan that file to make sure that if you're going to email it to someone that has a Windows system, that you're not going to be sending them something that's infected with a virus. So overall, I think this is a wonderful version. Time will tell. But if you're looking for an operating system to replace your Windows 10, Windows 7, or even your Mac operating system, I recommend you to give Ubuntu MATE a try. Now, this is not a distro review. I'm not going through showing you all the features of it. This is just showing you basically how to upgrade your Ubuntu MATE to the newer version. But I do recommend you to go through some of your daily softwares to make sure that they're going to work, so that way that you can start tweaking that or asking people questions online. How do you do this? Or send questions to the community how to fix that. So hopefully this video has been beneficial to anyone that's looking for a new operating system, or for anyone that's looking to upgrade their Ubuntu MATE and wondering about if there's a lot of problems. In my case, I didn't run into any problems upgrading. I just ran into some settings to where I had to tweak them. But remember, as I was upgrading, I chose them to replace my customized files, so I expected that. If you keep those, then you more likely you won't have to go through and recustomize as much as I did. Hopefully this video has been helpful to you, and have a great day.